Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode of Nostalgia Bait. We are back as always with my wonderful co-host Cooper Britton. Welcome my friend.
You.
Today
thank you.
We're doing a film review. Technically
We
part
are.
of the Nostalgia Bait film club.
Yeah.
Technically, with only one episode so far where we reviewed Shrek.
Yeah, this is quite a diff.
Yeah, yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. So first is Shrek and now Sinners.
Yeah.
We are talking about a brand new film which is released, brand new, a few weeks ago. I'm very late to the party.
It has been all over my timeline.
Everyone is talking about it. Everyone is raving about it, and rightfully so.
I was going to say rightly so.
So I watched it last night. So
Yeah,
I'm just
I saw it last week,
my brain
so-
is just
Yeah.
simmering with thoughts. You, however, watched it a few weeks ago, maybe
A week ago, I think.
and you just
something
got
that.
you've got your very structured thoughts and notes and ideas,
Yeah.
whereas I'm just like going into this like raw dogging it because I did not know.
Yeah.
I realized I didn't know anything going into it.
Yeah. I hadn't seen any of the trailers. I knew
I'd
it had
seen half the
vampires.
trailer. I didn't.
You didn't know it had
Which
vampires.
I actually think made it
That
so
is
much better.
so
We could
good.
get straight into that because
That is
for me,
so good.
I was like, I've heard this is a great film. When people say, right, when everyone's kind of mutually going, yeah, this is a 5-star film,
Yeah.
you don't expect it to be like supernatural or kind of weird or
Horror.
aliens or any shit like that, right? You
Yeah.
expect it to kind of just be like pretty straightforward, like cool drama, kind of good
Yeah.
character building, good world building. And for the first hour, it was. And I was
yeah.
like, I was really like locked in with that first hour of just.
Do you know it was horror?
Kind of loop round.
Hot
I'd
thriller, horror, whatever you
heard
call.
it was a bit horror-y, but I didn't think it would be horror, like outright horror. I thought it would be like have some scary elements to it, but I didn't think it would be. I didn't think it would be vampires, right? So that's my thing.
That's amazing
when
that you didn't know.
I'm just watching it and I'm thinking this is a great film. Like the I also didn't realize at first, and we'll kind of loop back to different points of this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize genuinely at first that the twins were actually played both by Michael B. Jordan.
Right, okay, we're going to go straight into this because I've got quite an embarrassing story about this.
Go on then.
So, and fucking don't attack me in the comments, whatever. I genuinely have no idea where this has come from, right? For some reason, I thought the main characters were Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan, right? Wholeheartedly, I have no idea where this has come from.
I don't agree with this, by the way.
I have no idea where this has come from, right? Yeah, mate. Nor do I. Like, I genuinely,
Could it
I have
be?
no idea where I've seen
Could
it.
it be? Could it be? Because I was watching this, and you know what it reminded me of in a weird sort of way is Django Unchained, and especially his performance with and the big
That's
cowboy
probably-
hat. And I thought his performance was kind of that same, like Jamie Foxx-esque from that film. I thought that it gave me similar vibes. So I can see maybe, but
Yeah, but this story gets worse, right?
Oh,
so
God.
I sat for
That's
the
not
full,
worst bit.
I sat for the full 2 hours and something movie, right?
Oh come on,
Genuinely, and I was like, God, Jamie Foxx really does look like Michael B. Jordan made about 10 different times in this movie, right? Being like, God, they really do look similar. Until I got to the credits. Got all the way through the credits, didn't even clock that Jamie Foxx's name wasn't there until I got to the rolling credits where it said Smoke/Stack, Michael B. Jordan. I sat there and was like, for fuck. I literally sat there and went, oh my fucking God.
Idiot.
I was like, I am the stupid...
I thought I was stupid
And then-
for not clocking onto that.
And then I sat there afterwards and I was like, I've not seen Jamie Foxx do one interview. Where the hell have I picked this up from?
Idiot. Stop digging a hole.
Where on earth?
You're digging
I
a
was like,
hole
where on
there, though.
earth have I, like... And I just embrace it. Like, I'm just, at this point, I was so embarrassed at the end of the movie. And I turned to my girlfriend who was there with me. And I was like, wait, Michael B. Jordan plays both the characters. She was like, yeah, I clocked... She was like, yeah, I clocked on, like, early on. I was like, I've literally sat that entire movie thinking
They're
that
twins.
Jamie Foxx looks
twins.
really close.
They're
Looks
twins.
She said that as well.
I saw the
oh my
beginning, the
God.
very beginning, and they had different hats on, and they were sort of slightly performing. I thought, God, they look really like. And then I worked it out when they had separate scenes. I was like, oh no, they're both Michael B. Jordan. I was embarrassed that it took me 10 minutes. Never mind.
I was so
2.5
locked
hours.
in with the story and with the music and stuff and just the whole supernatural and the
Donkey.
vampire stuff that I just didn't even... Genuinely, it was the realisation in the credits where I was like,
Well,
oh my God.
to the film's credit, it's very, very well done. Where usually this
fantastic.
effect is obvious, like especially
It's
going back a few
really well
years.
done.
Like there's definitely examples in film and TV where you do that. Social Network as well as another one where you've got the twins being played by the same actor. It's very impressive to be able to pull off. In this sense, I was super impressed because the way they interact with each other is so close and
crazy.
Very, very clever.
The
very,
lighting
very
of the
good.
cigarette and everything like that. Like that is mental to do.
Yeah.
To cross like a center line basically. It's mental to do.
Yeah, and as we know, we did it for our Day of the Doctor review way back on YouTube, where I was on screen 3 or 4 times, so we know how hard it is. We get it.
We get it.
The first half of the film, I loved it, and to be honest,
I could have watched a movie all about just the opening and running of.
See, I kind of feel like that's for me. Like that would have been enough.
Yeah.
Like I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I was
so did
really enjoying this sort of like post-Western era, but still kind of in that Deep South kind of vibe where, like, it's not in the fucking Wild West. It's about 20 years after the Wild West is sort of extinct.
Yeah,
but it's
don't get me
still.
wrong. I love the supernatural side of it as well.
Yeah.
The opener when they talk
Well, that
about,
was fucking cool anyway. Yeah.
The opener when they talk about being the musicians who can cross between the spirit. Mate, I was so locked in from that.
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, how on earth have I never heard of this? Because it is it's fantastic. How I've
100%.
never heard of it or seen something done with it before. It's
a great
besides
idea.
me. But it's a great idea.
Even in the opening, it was like quite jump scary, and I was a bit like
in the church when it jumped cut.
Yeah,
so
Christ.
good.
Because I mean, so I went with my girlfriend who is not a fan of horror at all.
Bear in mind, I'm not.
Oh, you're not a fan of horror either. Yeah,
I'm not a horror person at all.
So I went in with that, and I was like, I didn't know what it was going to be. She didn't know what it was going to be. We just kind of went in blind, sat, and then that happened, and I was like, oh god, it's going to be really scary, isn't it? And I'm going to have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to feel guilty about this. And I just thought like that. She loved it as well. We both loved it.
I googled beforehand like how scary, because I just don't enjoy horror at all. And to be honest, it's probably the first horror movie I've seen in
The only thing I
cinema.
ever tend to Google about a film is that website where it's like, does the dog die or not? Have you seen that? Where it's a website allocated to basically listing films and telling you whether or not a dog dies in that film.
In the movie, yeah.
And actually, for me, that's really useful because I hate seeing dogs die. I'm more inclined to watch a human die on screen than I am a dog.
What's it called? Marley and Me? Is that the famous
one?
one?
Fuck off, man. Marley and Me.
One?
I've got a story about Marley and Me, actually. That's a good one.
Go.
Yeah, here we go. Got a good little anecdote about that one.
Did you not realise that the twin dogs were played by the same dog?
Fuck off. That's you as well. That's not even a dig at me. That's just a self burn.
I know. I just embrace it.
So when Marley and Me came out, now if you're not aware what Marley and Me is, it's a film about a white Labrador in this loving family, and the dog dies.
Horrific spoilers, by the way.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, spoilers for Marley and Me.
I think it's a generational thing, Marley and Me. I don't know.
But the thing is, what you're not knowing is the context of. So this came out early 2007.
Was it?
In January 2007, guess what happened?
What happened, George?
My family pet white Labrador died of cancer.
Oh my.
Aged like 6. I grew up with this dog. I was 6, so I grew up in the same age as this dog.
I didn't know you had this dog.
Yeah, I had it. Well, it was before I met you, innit? Before we moved like closer, like to where my parents live now. Like it was. Yeah, so she died, and then basically my parents were really emotional about it, and because I was only 6 years old, I wasn't that. I was upset. I remember being upset about it, but I probably didn't process it properly. I probably didn't really understand it because I was still quite young to understand. So my parents were they claim they were worried about me because I wasn't showing any emotion. So their response to that was, let's take him to the cinema to watch Marley and Me, knowing what the film was and how it would end, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And I bawled my fucking eyes out for days. Yeah. I was so upset because it just hit, and I think I remember being upset already, but I think it was them getting me back because I remember apparently this story always comes around of me going, oh, Daddy's crying when my dad was getting upset about the dog dying. So Yeah, it's their sort of comeback. Anyway, Marley and me.
George is crying. George is crying.
Yeah, no, both my parents laughing at a 6-year-old crying. Like, ah, got you.
Got his ass.
Got him. But yeah,
Back to a movie about vampires.
Yeah, generational thing, but fun little anecdote anyway.
Yeah.
With this, I was so like, I loved the twist of it because thing is, I don't know. I have a couple of flaws with the film for me, and which is why, because a lot of people give it 5 stars. I give it 4.5 on Letterboxd. It's almost perfect. I have my gripes, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
But I think for me, I love the film, like almost unconditionally up until the point of the vampire introduction.
Yeah.
And I loved like all of the stories and the elements of it. I'm a fan of blues music. I'm probably not the best educated in it, but I do thoroughly enjoy that genre. Sounds daft, but when I watched the Blues Brothers years ago for the first time, I was locked in. Yes, I know, not very of the culture, but it's a great film, and I love the music of it. And I think like the soul and the energy, it just gives you goosebumps when you're listening to it. And I think this film exemplifies that perfectly. Like this, Slim sat at the train station playing the harmonica was just like beautiful.
Yeah.
I love all these little aspects of it, but the whole story's great. Like the twins being up in Chicago, references of them working with Capone, stealing liquor from the Italians and the Irish, sort of like getting
basically
them to sort
creating
of
a
fight each
mob
other.
war.
Yeah, creating a mob war. I just thought that
Yeah.
historical aspect was really good, and I loved, the context of that. Because as soon as you hear that, you go, right, I know who these guys kind of are. Then that's the level we're at.
I also like how it's like that kind of stuff sprinkled throughout the movie. Like you fight about Smoke and Stack, like finding out how they have this money, how they have this liquor. It's like it's gently sprinkled all the way throughout.
Yeah,
like
it's clever.
Perfectly placed where you find out.
I love the scene as well where the truck's getting like jumped and he goes out and just shoots them and then just stands there and watches this other guy and just goes, yeah. It is good. The dialogue, like the performances,
The cast are
incredible.
fantastic.
Like really, really, really good.
It's fantastic. I have it written down that the cast are incredible. Like the script writing, everything was just, it was so good, man. And the supernatural side of it as well. Like it just added like. And like I said, I could have watched a movie all about the Duke, but the supernatural side of it as well, like I have this written down because it's one of my favorite things. The vampires asking to come inside is one of my favorite things in this. Generally, could be my favorite part of this movie. Genuinely, because it's so accurate. Because I've
That's how I clocked it.
I've never seen a movie with vampires in, or like it. Like, I didn't really know this was a thing until I started playing D&D, that it's a thing that vampires are supposed to ask to come inside.
Yeah, it's a classic. Yeah, it's like...
So moment, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, they're actually doing it.
Yeah.
I was like...
Which is an important part of vampire lore. You can't just do the stake and the heart thing. You have to do I think it makes the mystique of them so much more interesting, because they are all powerful, but need permission to enter a premise. It's like Stephen King book Salem's Lot, which was adapted a couple of times. I need to watch the newest adaptation of it, but there's a scene where this kid's like basically flying outside a bedroom window, being like, let me in, and he's a vampire obviously, but the other character doesn't know that, and he's like, what? He's so confused as to what's going on that he accepts. It's a brilliant part of vampire lore. You should watch What We Do in the Shadows as well, because they use that for comedic purposes as well, where it's like they can't enter a premises and they're like, come on.
I loved it. It was like from when the three of them turned up and they were standing at the doorway asking to be let in. That's when I clocked on.
Yeah, same.
And then I realized when I backtracked and thought about when he comes to the doorway, like.
In my mind, it was exactly the same.
And I was like, oh my god, they're actually doing it. And then obviously, Haley Steinfeld's character comes in, comes in, like, it's genius.
When the three of them went to the barn door and just stood outside, sort of trying to come in and play music, I turned to my girlfriend and I was like, it's vampires. She was like, I was like, yeah, because that's what they do. That's what they do. And it made complete sense. I didn't even think about the first bit when it happened. I was sort of just like, oh, that's interesting. There's definitely something weird going on here, but I haven't. I just took it as face value. and we're just like, these are
You
bad
didn't think it was
guys.
vampires. You just think it was like
No, well,
supernatural.
you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Given
no,
what
no,
you've been,
at all.
what you've seen up to that point,
Yeah.
I didn't know what we'd be dealing with, and then
Yeah.
we get that, and then it was only when the sort of Native American people arrived, and they said like, you know, like, God have mercy or anything like that. Have you let him in? I was like, okay, and then you saw him, I was like, he's a vampire.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool as fuck. And I think the way they, it's a historical like vampire horror, but done in such a culturally
It's great.
exciting way.
Yeah.
Like, again,
Educational as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite, it's really...
yeah. What was I saying about like this? Like last week on Josh's podcast on Who Knew, when we went on that, and I was saying about the Doctor Who episode, which is like the story in the engine, which is sort of set in Nigeria, and it has these elements like, you know, there's. You can throw any writer at it. Like, you need the culture.
Yeah.
You need that lived experience and that understanding. And that's where, like, Ryan Coogler as a director comes in. He is one of the most exciting directors of this generation, I think. And
He's
underrated.
fantastic.
Like,
He's
in terms
really
of what he's
underrated.
actually worked on as, like...
He did Black Panther.
Yeah. He did both Black Panthers. He did Creed.
Yeah. That was the other one, yeah.
But he's not done much more than that. And the fact that this is like his newest one, this is his highest rated film on IMDb by a stretch.
Is this his writing debut, or did he write Black Panther as well?
I don't know if he wrote. Did he write this? Well, he did write this.
Yeah.
He wrote Black Panther. He writes all his films, I think.
He writes all his movies, yeah.
Creed, screenplay and story. Black Panther written by Black Panther Wakanda Wherever written by and screenplay. Yeah. And then Sinners written by. Sinners is clearly his passion project. And my God, it's brilliant. It sort of takes elements that, like, I just wouldn't have expected in the same place, but it sort of does it in such a unique way. And there's some things I think it went too far in, but I liked the idea of. Where it's like, I liked it on paper and I liked it in practice, but I was like, maybe lingering a bit too long. But I think that's only a testament to how strong the writing was in the first half, that I fell in love with the story. Massively.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely loved it. That when they did start making it a bit more jarring and a bit more out there, I started to just go,
I'm quite glad the majority of the movie was the Duke Joint stuff. I'm quite happy that was...
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't the main proper vampire stuff. Don't get me wrong, I still loved it. Like, there's some amazing moments, but I'm glad that the majority of it was this setting up of the Duke Joint, the performances, like seeing the kind of vibe and stuff like that. Like, that was what I was most excited for. And to be honest, I knew going into it that would be my favourite part of it.
Yeah. I was very excited when he started playing the music, and then you get that repeated speech of like how music invokes and awakens the spirits from the past, the present, and the future. And you have someone with like an electric guitar, people with like really tribal sort of guitars. I was like, this is people twerking like electronic music and like a mix of eras.
We need to talk about this scene for a hot minute because it was fucking genuinely.
How do you even pull that off?
I think it's one of the greatest. Bearing in mind, it's all fucking Steadicam and it's all done in
one take. Yeah.
What the apps? Like what? Bearing in mind, it's done on film as well.
Oh my God! Is it?
The whole thing's shot on film. The whole thing's shot on IMAX
that's
film.
Why it looks so good. Yeah.
What?
It was shot
on Steadicam. IMAX film Steadicam.
That's so annoying then, because it was such a. That's the one thing. It was a real proper letterbox film when I watched it. I didn't watch it in IMAX. So the fact that it's shot on IMAX is shocking, because it could have been a much bigger. You could have seen more of the image.
I saw an interview with him saying that if you go to see it in IMAX or in whatever like certain millimeter IMAX, the aspect ratio changes,
it's like
and
Interstellar.
you see more. Like, I've seen shots from the movie that I saw like that, but there's actually so much more of it.
But I've never understood why they can't just do that in normal cinemas.
I don't know.
It's annoying because I feel like I am missing half the frame when I see stuff like that. Because I'm like, there could be so much more to that.
It was shot in like 2 different types of IMAXs, or IMAX and something else. I can't remember. But anyway, this scene shot in IMAX Steadicam, all in one. Like, genuinely, the blocking for that is just nutty. And I was watching it because I love stuff that's done in, like, I love when they do stuff in, like, I call them one-ers. That's what I call them.
One-ers,
when they do them in one-ers. but it adds something like watching it, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and then it kept going, and then they kept moving, and then people were coming in and they were cutting around, and the Asian family were coming in and they were showing Asian dancers, and the tribal dancers were coming in and they come around the stage with the DJ decks, and I was like, this is like
very, very
it
clever.
was like, I was like, this is fantastic. I was like, it's so well done. And we have to mention the music. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The goat once again.
Yeah.
My goat.
I didn't know until the credits rolled.
Did you not?
I didn't know. And then his name came up and I was like, of course it's Ludwig Göransson. Of course it's Ludwig Göransson. I was like, well, that makes complete sense because he's a fucking talented composer. And you know what? Like, I'm starting to get that about. You remember last time we talked about film composer? I was like, for me, Ludwig Göransson isn't quite up there, but he's getting there. And he's there now, I think. After this film, was like, push point. Well, yeah, because it's all about, it's like, how can you diversify, like, your talent? Like, how can you apply what you know and do, like, Mandalorian, Oppenheimer, and then Sinners? All of them sound so different, but all of them have a fantastic score to them.
Yeah, it was. I lied to us. Like, it was just that whole track. I've listened to the soundtrack
I need to listen
multiple
to it.
occasions.
I'm so excited.
Afterwards, on my drive home yesterday, I was listening to it, and that song, like, it's so like, it's even like, it's the way that it plays, and then like there's a center point where the singing stops, and it kind of shifts its vibe, and it's like, it's just genius. Like when like the proper like seance stuff kicks in, like when the vampires clock on, like
the weird thing about it is it's almost a musical, this film.
Yeah, it is.
Because it has musical numbers.
Yeah.
Like the Irish dancing scene with the vampires.
That is
incredible. I was like, that's proper, that.
I need to pull up this costume's name because I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Remick. Or Remick?
I don't know. I'm still trying to,
Oh my god. So Jack O'Connell, right? When he got put forward for this, he used to go Irish dancing with his dad since he was 6-year-old.
Wow.
He said as an actor he's never had the chance to bring out his Irish dancing until this movie.
Love that.
That whole thing. Even like the Irish folk songs, I've seen so many TikToks and Twitter clips and stuff of people saying like these songs, like Irish, Gaelic, Scottish folk songs, were the songs that my parents used to sing to me as like lullabies when I was a kid. Like, so cool. So many. Like, you know the one when they're outside and Hayley Steinfeld walks out? I've seen some people say, oh, my parents used to sing that as a lullaby to me when I was a kid. Like, it's genius. It's genius to have this like Irish twang to it as well. Like,
I love that
Irish American twang. It's so good. It's
again deep seated in culture. There's a lot of like Irish American immigrants around this time in history as well. So having that as quite a significant thing in this film made sense. You had them stealing like Irish beer as well. That was quite a big part of what they were selling. So there's a lot. The music was fantastic. The score was incredible, but also that the original songs and stuff were amazing.
Yeah, the original songs were fantastic. Yeah.
So I'm just blown away with it. You know, something weird and interesting that I saw someone else mention this. I think this film, excuse my vulgarities for 1 second, but this film has a lot of talk about eating pussy in this film.
So my first introduction of this movie was the scene of Hayley Steinfeld and Michael B. Jordan at the train station. That was the first thing I ever saw about this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's mostly Hayley Steinfeld's character, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that was my first.
There's a lot of talk about it in this film.
Yeah,
not a bad
my
thing.
First introduction.
Not a bad thing, but I was a bit like, movie. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's very There's a lot of
there's a few lines where I watched it. I was like, oh. I couldn't believe you said
that bit with Hayley Steinfeld was jarring. When it was. If you don't know what's coming, it is. I was like,
oh, okay, Jesus Christ.
It is jarring.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of there's so much I can break down about this film that I love. My criticism, my only thing that I really was not too keen on, love the vampire stuff. I just felt they were slightly cartoonish for me. Like, I didn't mind it, right? It's not that bad of a criticism. I know it's what they're going for. I don't mind the red eyes and the teeth. I think they look great because a lot of that was like practical. What I didn't like was 2 shots in the film where they like launched into the air a little bit, and I was like, okay, vampires can fly, but I feel like this film is so
Yeah.
grounded, literally, and just in terms of the story, that I'm like,
Sick.
I just feel like it felt out of place. Like, do you know when Haley
Yeah.
Steinfeld's walking back to the club, and then in the background
Yeah.
he sort of just jumps up into the air, and it
Yeah.
cuts, and it's like, that's kind of a scary moment, but like, I feel like I didn't need to see him jump up. He could have just had the like red eyes or something.
Yeah.
And then there's like a bit towards the end where
Turn into a bat.
yeah, well,
That's probably a bit too close. That's
probably too
worse.
far. That's probably much
Yeah.
worse. But like, I think Sammy's running away from the thing at the end, and he sort of jumps from the top, and he sort of glides down to get him. I'm like, there's certain ways you could have went around that. You didn't need to.
That was one of my only
far.
things about it, and I love it. I wasn't a massive fan of like the vampire final form, like the massive claws and the. I don't know. I just wasn't a.
I didn't mind that.
wasn't a massive
it's
fan
when
of
it
it.
goes. See, it's when you because the film is so grounded. Whenever you introduce something like CGI
Yeah.
on that scale, when it does something that isn't realistic, teeth.
That's not
blood,
CG. The flying thing when he flies out of the barn.
Is it not CG?
No, it's done practically.
Okay, it looked CG. Then. it looked slightly unrealistic to the point where because the rest of the film is like quite personal. Whenever they attack people, it's like they're eating them. It's like quite hands-on, gritty violence. So him sort of gliding from the top of the barn was a bit like, I don't know. I was a little bit like, it just kind of threw me out of it for like a second. But again, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just like, this was such a, I don't know. That's the thing I think I respect about this film, though, because it shows you can do these concepts well and in a very well-respected film. A lot of these times, whenever you introduce like vampires, whenever you do all this sort of thing, I think it softens and it weakens the film in a lot of areas. And with a lot of films like this, you can just find that the story just kind of disappears and the characters a bit. But because they spent so long, an hour, building up all the characters,
do you think
all
it's
the
a smart
backstories,
choice to do like 2/3 of the film before doing any major vampire stuff?
100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really adds to it, doesn't it?
I think you got the introduction at the beginning, so you can't be mad that it sort of misled you, because you got those sort of flashes at the beginning of something evil, and something had clearly happened. So you get that content. You can't be mad at it for going, oh, you spiced it up halfway through. It's like, yeah, but they did show you right at the beginning. And then you've got a solid hour of character setup and like development and world building on a huge scale.
Yeah.
Before you even introduce the vampire concept, like with these horrible fucking racist family that they're in the middle of the field. So I think for me that was sort of an important thing of actually, because they spent so much time world building and grounding these characters and making them so multifaceted and interesting and actual fucking people.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got twins played by the same actor and it's not like based on real life. It's quite hard, I find, sometimes to differentiate the characters in terms of personality, but you actually could here. And again, that's a testament to the screenwriting. It's a testament to the directing. It's a testament to Michael B. Jordan's performance. And I think because they introduced the vampires at that point, you had so long to get used to this world before going, and now this is what it is.
Yeah.
Usually films like that start how they mean to go on. They introduce the concept very early on. That is the initiating part of the story. But the vampires aren't introduced till halfway through here. It's sort of like, that is the climax of the story, but it's not the climax of the story.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's very much like, yes, it is the climax of the story, but it's not the whole point of the story, if that makes sense. Like, the whole point of the story isn't, oh, we have to fight and kill vampires and live. It's like, it's used as a tool more than anything to tell the wider story. Because the wider story is the whole thing is with like fighting the KKK, and turns out that the KKK were going to come and kill them all anyway. So it's like, it's like playing on that racist America kind of.
Yeah,
and again, it's
playing on racism, definitely, and it's playing on the idea of racism, but it's also playing on black culture, on soul, and music, and I think that's such an important part of it. That's why I loved the ending. Regretfully, and I'll tell the story. This is really bad of us, because I don't ever usually do this, but
you fucking left before the. Did you watch the post-credit scene?
I did. Don't worry.
Okay, thank God.
Post-credits or mid-credits?
Well, mid-credits, I guess it is.
I saw that. Well, because usually when the fucking thing comes up, it's like written and directed by that. That's the end of the film, and we watched it quite late. We had to get like a weekly shop done before we went home. So we were like trying to get to Sainsbury's to sort of scramble before it closed. So we're the only people who got up and went down to the, and then the scene started, and then we just like slumped onto the bottom seats right at the front of the cinema just to watch it. Because I was like, oh fuck, I was so embarrassed because everyone else is in there going, fucking idiots. But I would never usually do that while the stuff's still on screen. But I was like, oh, film's done. Game's gone.
Game's gone.
I think that's such an important thing because what it tells you is that because the vampire thing is resolved 20 minutes before the end.
Yeah. There's the whole scene at the barn, isn't there?
There's the whole scene at the barn with the KKK. There's the whole sort of him dying, and then you have the whole thing of Sammy in the 90s being like a soul singer,
Buddy Guy,
and seeing the vampires again. That was so important, and I think that is what raised the film. Because until that point for me, the film was about 4 stars, and I think that bumps it up. Because what it tells you is it's like the story isn't about vampires and murder and all that shit. What it is about fundamentally, at least how I read it, was that it is about that. It's about that culture. It's about that.
Yeah.
That sense of that lack of equality, that idea that that's the happiest day of his life, that's the most free he's ever felt.
Yeah.
And it was cursed to fail, and all they wanted to do was just have that space for them.
And I think until the vampires came, that was the greatest day of my life. Such a good line. Such a good line.
It's good. He's great, and I think it's
mad that it's all a day as well. Mad that it's all done.
You sort of. That was the thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, when it goes like one day earlier, you're like, okay, so everything has to happen in one day. Then. So I'm fucking down for, because I feel like I'm like watching it almost in real time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think again the idea of that and that final scene really cements it for me. Is that the overall story, the idea of what it is about and what it is, and it's not directly about the vampires. Because the majority of the film hasn't got vampires in it.
They're just a fantastic story.
It's a fantastic story, but done through this
story
sort
tool,
of
I guess it is,
horror action lens.
Yeah,
which works incredibly well. It's a brilliant film. It's really, really good. I can really barely floor it, only for those little things. But it's only because I was like, I loved how grounded it was and how real it was and how fleshed out the characters were and how well the world was built. That whenever they did something slightly cartoonish, I was a bit like, ooh. Threw me out of it a little bit, but I still loved it.
Yeah, I loved the whole dance number, the Irish dance number outside. I know you mentioned it before. But
that was incredible.
You know, the funniest part of that was I was so locked in watching Remick, and then I was like, I was like, I need to find Haley Steinfeld's character. I need to see all these other characters, and you look behind him and you see like Cornbread, and you see Mary, and you see all of them doing this dance behind him. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I love it so much. It was so good to watch. I was so glad I finally got to see it. I'm so glad you finally been to see it. Do you understand now why I mentioned it last week when we were talking about Storing the Engine? And I was saying that like last weekend felt like a proper like cultural like fantasy supernatural trip for me, because they kind of have a similar vibe, kind of.
Yeah,
the storytelling and
I just think it's that it's so set in culture.
Yeah,
in black culture, and I think that's it's great to see so much of that representation done so well, in not any sort of pandery way, but like this is art. These examples are art, and they're done incredibly well, and I think when you get that, it's so exciting, because it's like, you know, as a fucking mid-20s white English man, like. I am learning and I'm enjoying and I'm just thoroughly just fucking there and locked in for it. I can't like relate. I don't know that like culture. It's not my culture, but I love consuming it when it's so fucking well put together like this, or like the Story and the Engine was. But yeah,
I think this. I know we talked about cinematography before, and we talked about like the Steadicam use and stuff like that. I think it also like, I think the layout of the Duke is what's the word I'm trying to look for? You like, because they do it in a lot of ones with the Steadicam, I think you get the layout of the Duke a lot better than you would if it was all done static. Like
that's true. Yeah,
like the scene when he walks from when the guys are at the doorway and he goes back through the doorway into the kitchen area to go and find smoke, and then he goes like talks to him saying, "Oh, there's some people at the door." And he goes, "Okay, go get Stack." And he goes out, goes to the room, sees him, comes back out, back into the kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm not going in to see. Okay, I'll go and get him. And then you follow in the same thing. You follow him back out and back round to go into the room to then cut and then move to the doorway like that. I think getting the geography of that, of where the kitchen is and where that room is and where the staircase is, like that is helped by doing all these Steadicam one shots. Even like when Haley Steinfeld, when Mary comes back in and you follow her through the crowd, and when she first comes in or she goes to the bar, like all this kind of stuff, like it really panders and helps you understanding the job, because it's busy and it's hard to understand the geography of where the staircase is, where this is, where that is.
It's a very well made set. And it's a very well planned out set. The kind of set that you almost build and think about.
You are 100%
in the script stage.
100%, without a doubt, it would have been. The script will have been altered to benefit the build, without a doubt,
100%.
Without a shadow of a doubt. There's something else I was going to say, but I've completely forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's on your list of notes that I might have forgotten?
So I've got soundtrack is phenomenal. Use of cultural and futuristic instruments, especially for the the seance bit. The vampire accuracy is out of this world, and I had clocked in being asked to be let inside straight away. Like it was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. Cinematography is perfect. Like adding depth to the and it's I'm not a horror guy, but I enjoyed it because it's more of a thriller than anything, and it wasn't too horror for me.
I think the same in a way. It's a similar approach to horror as my girlfriend's approach to horror, which is like, I think you'll enjoy it more than you think. I think the idea of it being scary, like
there was moments in things. It's for me, it's the suspense more than anything, and there was moments that I could ask my girlfriend. There was parts where I was like, like something's gonna come out, and it's like the suspense.
Oh, when she was walking, when that girl was walking through the house to like calling her husband's name, and
oh my god,
that was terrifying. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
But the thing is, I don't think. Do you not get a bit of comfort from that because you're like, well, I know there's a jump scare coming?
Nah, because the suspense just kills me. It's not even the jump scare. It's not the jump scare at all.
But because
it's
suspense. See, for me, the suspense is almost like, okay, I know what they're doing here. And I think especially with the more films I watch, more horror films I watch anyway, it's like, the more I'm like, yep, there's something coming here. And I'm preparing myself for it mentally. It's when it takes when films take cheap shots, that's what I don't like.
Yeah.
That scene when she's walking through the house was less scary to me than the rattlesnake.
Oh man, I shit myself.
Yeah, I shit myself at the rattlesnake because it was completely out of nowhere and it was a cheap shot. They just go, oh, brilliant.
You know what that reminded me of? Have you seen Jaws?
Yes.
Do you know when he's underwater and the head comes, the thing floats out? From behind. Yeah. That's what that reminded me of. Like that cheap shot. Yeah, the snake got me as well. The other thing I was going to say about Sinners is Sinners makes me feel like cinema is more like event cinema. I think is slowly creeping into the modern standard. Like, I don't think cinema's as big as it was before COVID. And I think
no, not at all.
One of the biggest knock-on effects it's had is one of the biggest effects COVID has had is on cinema. Whereas I think, to play devil's advocate, I think there's a lot more movies that they are more like events that you have to see in cinemas, like Barbenheimer.
But that's the thing as well. The fascinating thing is, I'm looking at this here, right? Sinners has been out for about a month now.
Yeah.
So I watched it yesterday, which was the 16th of May. It came out on the 18th of April. It's been out over a month. My cinema was not full, but almost. It was.
Mine was empty.
Oh, really?
We literally had like 8 to 10 people in, and I went to see it last week.
I was like, that's mad because I'm seeing it on like Friday night.
Yeah.
A month after it's come out, and cinema's still got people in it. There's still people there. It's still got about 4 or 5 screenings during the day. It made me happy because I'm like, God, I'm going to the cinema, and it's not dead for once.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many times where that's happened, and I hate it.
I think it plays to its benefit because I hadn't heard of it before it got released, and I think it benefits from the word of mouth as well. Like, I've been more inclined to see it. I've been more inclined to see it because I've seen people say it. It's fantastic. You have to see it. Like, 100%. I've told my dad that he has to go and see it. Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
like,
I'll be telling my dad about this one, actually.
It's like, and I think that's what I'm saying. I think event cinema, like things like this, I prefer. Like, obviously, there's some movies I'll go and see in the cinemas, but it's like, it doesn't feel like they're releasing every movie in the cinema nowadays.
100%.
A lot of the crap movies that shouldn't really be released in cinemas. Don't get me wrong, there are still movies that should not be released in cinemas that are going straight to streaming platforms and stuff. But I think
some stuff
it's
is
a
like, it's
double-edged
fine.
sword, isn't it?
You can do that, but it's like cinemas will die if we don't use them, and we don't.
It's a double-edged
and we
sword,
don't
isn't it? It's like,
it's like it is becoming more expensive, yes. Although, like, I think there's some cinemas out there you can get stuff for quite cheap, and I'm really enjoying going back to the cinema at the minute. I just haven't got the time to do it, and it's great though because I can do that. Like yesterday, I can sit and I can watch a film for the first time in ages. Sinners is the first time I've been to the cinema since Minecraft, and it's the first film I've watched since Minecraft.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Revenge of the Sith. You see Revenge of the Sith before you saw Minecraft movie?
What? Sorry?
Did you see Revenge of the Sith before you saw my Minecraft movie?
I didn't see it in cinema, mate. I missed it.
Did you not? I thought you did.
Yeah, no. Well, if I was able to do it, I would have tried to organise something with you, but I haven't. I was away that weekend. I couldn't really manage it, so it was just like, I just ended up giving up on that. But it'll happen again at some point, I'm sure.
I've been quite a lot recent, like in the last 5 or 6 weeks. I think I've been the last. This is the first weekend in this month.
I want to get a bloody Limitless Odeon thing again. Yeah, because I had that a few years ago and it was fucking great.
I saw Revenge of the Sith. I saw Thunderbolt. I saw the Minecraft movie. Sadly, and then obviously saw Sinners last week. So
yeah, damn.
Yeah, crazy.
No, it's a good time for the cinema. I think there's some good films coming up. I'm excited for Superman, Fantastic Four.
Very excited for Superman, Fantastic Four.
Big films that are coming out. I've heard Thunderbolts is good.
Excited.
I'm probably not going to see that in cinema. I'll probably wait till that's on Disney Plus and catch that.
Thunderbolts is very good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it, and everyone's sort of telling me to sort of watch it. So I probably will. It's just time. But I love the fact again. There's an art to going to the cinema. I think the cinema is going to become more and more popular again now because I think people probably miss it. People miss the experience of sitting down in the cinema and watching something and just not having your phones or not having anything blaring or anything like that. First time I've been in a cinema in a while where I haven't been distracted by someone's phone screen. I haven't been distracted by people fucking making noise. So everyone was there to watch a good film and fucking enjoyed it. And that was great. Other than some guy coming into the cinema halfway through and trying to open the fire exit door and then fucking off. That was weird. But other than that, that's fucking London for you. Other than that, it was a fantastic experience, a great film, and I think that they complement each other hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I thought it was brilliant. Good. I was really, really happy with it. And that is our thoughts on Sinners.
I'm quite glad we've got to sit down and
talk this was not planned. But
I'm quite glad
we got to talk. Yeah, it's
fun. I don't know none of my friends have got to see it. Like no one I know has got to see it, so I've not been.
Thank God I went to see it yesterday. I mean, that's just by chance. Like I wasn't originally planning to, but yeah. If you've seen Sinners, let us know what you think in the comments below. We'd love to see. Yeah, and we'll move on now to Just News. I think,
of course.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a good one today. And by good, I mean, it's just, I don't even know how to begin tackling this. So just bear in mind beforehand. This is sort of, again, a huge thank you to Elle for sending these fucking hilarious stories. This has got so many layers to it that I feel obliged to apologise in advance to anyone who may be easily offended.
Oh no.
But this is it's got a great headline. But obviously this is dealing with someone's death. So I need to be very...
Content warning.
Content warning, yeah. If you're easily offended, apologies in advance. But let's talk about this. So, are you ready for Just News this week, Cooper?
Yeah.
Sorry, just before we start, are you a fan of Gordon Ramsay?
I love Gordon Ramsay.
You like Gordon Ramsay? I quite like Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen, all that sort of thing.
Where's the lamb saw?
Yeah. So this story is about Gordon Ramsay. Okay. Or is it? The headline: Gordon Ramsay's dwarf porn double Percy Foster dies in Badger Den. Now, look, there are so many layers to this, and I'm trying to be as delicate as I can with the subject matter. The funny bit is that he looks like Gordon Ramsay and he's a porn star.
My first question is, what the hell is what is a badger den? I like an actual...
That's your first question.
Has he got into a den of badgers and been mauled to the death?
We'll find out. A dwarf porn star.
God, he does look like
who was celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay's doppelganger has been found dead in an English badger den. This is an old story, by the way.
Yeah.
A dwarf porn star who was Gordon Ramsay's double has been found dead in the most bizarre of circumstances, according to a UK tabloid, The Sunday Sport. Percy Foster's... they don't need to...
Why do you put how
They
tall
don't
he
need
is?
to read how tall he is.
Oh my god.
Percy Foster's 107 centimetre, 3 foot 6 inches body was discovered in a badger's den in Wales.
Why would you do that? You're asking. Like, you could have just said his body was discovered in a badger den in Wales. No.
They're just trying to emphasise like this
when
man
on
was,
earth?
he was a small man. And
When
I
on
think that's
earth on the
shocking.
news do you go, this man's 6'4" body was found? Like,
That's very overly specific, Cooper. am I going to turn up
like
somewhere
imagine
in a
when
week?
imagine when like Michael Jackson died and they were like, Michael Jackson's 5 foot whatever
Yeah,
body
yeah,
was
yeah,
found
yeah.
in his home in X place. The Queen's 4'9" body was found. Sorry.
Can you imagine on BBC News, though, they're doing it, and they're sort of like, welcome to BBC News. This is breaking news. We regret to inform you that the Queen Elizabeth II, 4'9", has sadly passed away in her sleep.
Not age, it's like, at what height did you pass away?
And you got some fucker at home going, 4'9", that's no height, that's no height to die. Okay. The report says the 35-year-old was found deep in an underground chamber by the Ministry of Agriculture experts ahead of a planned badger gassing program.
So it was in an actual badger den.
Yeah, I don't think that was a euphemism for something in his porn career.
That's sadly what I thought it was. That's where my brain was more
That it was in a
inclined
badger
to
den.
go. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really trying to not
crazy.
make any jokes or just
This
try
is
and just read the
mental.
story.
Yeah.
Oh, badger gassing? They were going to kill them? That's horrible.
Is it
I
not
think-
just to get them out? Is it not like you pump smoke in so they run out?
I don't know.
That's how you do it with wasps and bees, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Maybe he was found in a beehive. Who knows? Investigators...
4'9" B or 3'6" BI.
Fuck's sake.
Sorry.
Investigators have not ruled out the possibility of suicide, according to the report. In a recent interview, Foster spoke of his excitement about his growing career as Ramsay's double. Porn lookalikes get more money than normal actors. Dwarf lookalikes are as rare as hen's teeth, so can command top dollar.
Yeah, as you should.
I've already ordered a new BMW and a diamond-encrusted soda stream, he said. Of all
You're
things, that's
based.
mental, isn't it?
Based.
That's the end of the story.
That's the end of the story. What?
Wait, what?
What?
Oh, hang on. I've got to find more about this. That's it?
No way.
Okay, hang on, I've got a follow-up for you.
Okay.
From the Mail Online. This is from
Okay.
2018. This is from 2018. So this is newish.
recent.
This is more recent. The last one was 2011.
Yeah.
So this is an article from the Mail Online. The headline is already brilliant. I couldn't find the little fucker. Gordon Ramsay reveals he never got to meet his dwarf porn star lookalike who died in mysterious circumstances in 2011. Again, don't need to call him. You didn't need to say a little. Hot-headed chef Gordon Ramsay has revealed he never got to meet his lookalike dwarf porn star Percy Foster. Percy died in 2011 when his 107 centimetre body was found.
Why? Why?
Why did they feel the need to do that?
How old? Like, we don't even know his age when he died. We just know he was 107 centimeters.
No, we do. He's 35. Wasn't he?
What?
Is that what he said? Not say that?
No.
Sure. he said
No.
that. 35-year-old was found. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Speaking to the Daily
yeah.
Telegraph on Saturday.
But
the
sorry.
restaurateur-
Before we go to this, it tells you his height before it tells you his age.
It does, yeah, that's true. Because I think that's what people are thinking. He's going, God damn, Gordon Ramsay's dwarf porn star double. How tall was he? The thing is, I would be asking his age. Also, can you see the resemblance? Because it is kind of
It's
uncanny.
scary.
He looks like a
scary.
caricature of Gordon Ramsay that's done in like
Yeah, he
French,
does.
like in Paris in like Montmartre
Yeah.
or something, which is like
Yeah.
a really.
I have noticed
mysterious
in the
badger dead in
photos.
Wales. Go on.
I have noticed the photos of him. They only ever show his headshot or from like here.
Are you
upwards.
sorry? Are you wanting them to show his cock?
Well,
and
no.
bollocks?
I'm just I'm
fact.
just pointing out that there clearly is no non-indecent photos of him out and about in the world.
I'll search his. I'll search his
no.
name. And see what come.
Oh no.
Well, there is one. Oh wow!
I'm not googling it.
I'll just send you a photo. We can't show this on.
Okay. Well, yeah. Keep going.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad, but it's too bad to show on the podcast. Speaking to the Daily Telegraph on Saturday, the restaurateur was his typical abrasive self when speaking about his pornographic doppelganger. When asked if he ever got to meet his lookalike, he started, "No, I couldn't find the little fucker," before confessing to only speaking about him the other day. The chef, whose eateries have 16 Michelin stars in total, admits he didn't see footage of the actor in action. However, he was happy for him to turn a profit on their shared looks.
Fair enough.
He said, good for him, he said, before adding, "If you can be a dwarf porn star, I mean, how fucking massive." Gordon.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
He knows exactly the right questions. In 2011, the
There
35-year-old
you go.
was found under bizarre circumstances in an underground chamber for badgers, according to the country's Ministry of Agriculture. Reported in news.com.au, the lookalike of a Hell's Kitchen host had recently spoken of his excitement for his growing career. Oh, so glad the photo ended there. Porn lookalikes get a lot more money than normal actors, he said. Yeah, we've got this. Meanwhile, he'll just we've read all this, we've got all this.
So we
There's
never
no
found
news
out.
We don't know how he died, though.
Damn.
And one of the top comments on the article is, "Not a nice way to refer to the dead." And I agree.
I agree. All 107 centimeters of him. I'll never let go of this. I find it mental. I find it absolutely mental. I'll never let go. I hope on my gravestone, Cooper Britton, 5 or 5.5, died.
5.5.
5.5.
That half is doing numbers, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode of Nostalgia Bait. If you're listening to us over on Spotify, do give us a follow and a hearty 5-star review. It really helps. You can check us out on YouTube as well. You can subscribe on there, comment, like, all of the above. It's a lovely place to be. You can watch our video podcasts on Spotify and YouTube, and audio podcasts on any other podcast platform that you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple, whether that be Amazon, whether that be Castbox, whoever listens on there. But yeah, you can find us all on there. We've got social medias, we've got TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of lovely stuff, as well as our own stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Check all those out in the description below, and we will see you next week for another episode. I don't know what we're doing, but let's not confirm it in case we decide to do something different. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.